Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, July 24th, 2025, season 21, episode number 16. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SW. Oh, no, we're not. We're live from Oxnard, California. I was about to say the SWBC Mortgage Studios. This would be the SWBC Mortgage Studios, but it is in Oxnard, California. We're presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. Welcome to the show. We've got 45 minutes with you guys, talk a little Cowboys football. We're into it. Pads have not come on yet, but Cowboys have had several practices. We're going to start today's show the way that we're going to start pretty much every show while we're out here with some observations. We're going to go around the table, and I want you guys to do two things for me. I want you to give me an observation of a specific player, something you've seen over the last two practices, and also an observation of a moment. Just giving people an idea of what camp is like, what practice is like, what things are drawing your attention as you've watched these first two practices. Let's start with you, Voch.
Okay, so let's just do moment first. And it's going to sound like low-hanging fruit, but I promise it's going to answer a lot of questions, right? There were some, Cowboy fans, people that were just curious if, Schottenheimer is such a player's coach, if he's so cool, like, will that get in the way of discipline? Will that get in the way of waving his finger if he needs to? Well, there was a fight over there on the fence, and, we're not trying to get hurt here. You know what I mean? That's the one rule of camp, like get through camp and get out of it healthy. And Shotty said, turn the music off. NBA Youngboy was on. It was cut off. We called a huddle to the middle of the field, and he cussed everybody out twice.
Didn't cuss me out, but
he cussed everybody with pads and helmets, with helmets on, got cussed out. He was like, hey, let's stay healthy. That ain't what we're here to do. If I see it again, you're going home. Do you understand? Do you understand? He said it twice. And I was like, man. So there is a side of Shotty that can keep guys on track if it, gets bad or whatnot. So there were just people that were just asking, what happens if XYZ happens? Shotty will raise his voice, get people back in line, and NBA Youngboy will cut right back on, and we'll get right back to practice. I thought that was important.
That was a daddy moment right there.
Hey.
That was a real daddy moment.
Shotty's a first-time head coach, and most time head coaches are young if it's for the first time. But he's like an older young dude, right? Like he's been in the league for like 30 years, so he's been building
he's 50-something, so he's
50-something. So
he's a grown man.
He has dad.
Why are you looking at that? Why are you looking at me like that? You about to say something about my age?
About my age.
Oh, okay, good.
But
I just have this discussion?
Yeah, we did.
But Shotty does have that dad diaphragm in him where he raised his voice and kept everybody online. And we didn't have a peep out of anybody, for the rest of the day. So it was cool. Good practice.
Yeah, there's moments when when the kids are doing their thing, there's moments when dad's got to be like, all right, everything stop for a minute. I need to have a conversation.
Yep.
And then you lay it down, and you say, okay, let's go back to what we were doing.
Plus, on top of that, just the previous day, it was the whole Sam slow down thing.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe it's like 2 days. It was like, hey, we're not here to get hurt. Chill out.
Yeah.
Before something bad happened to somebody up in here. So I thought that was important.
Good.
I think it's a little annoying for me because I am trying in a way to stay mad. Not that I'm trying to stay mad, but it's like after all these years, every season, you don't want to get excited again and fall for it. You're like, no. But then it's hard to stay upset or not get excited when you're watching what is happening in front of you and in front of your eyes and seeing the new dynamic and energy that he's bringing, the culture that he's creating here with the team. He's doing everything right. Again, we can only wait and see what's going to happen week 1. That's what's going to be the reality of it. But right now he's doing everything that he should be doing as a new head coach and here with the team. Before I continue real quick, I wanted to give a quick shout out to all the fans that come out here and support the show. It's surprising every time I meet someone. I'm like, oh, people actually listen to this show? And it's like, oh, yeah,
well,
people
of
do
course,
listen.
Here now, so of course a lot of people.
Oh, okay. No. This show was developed before you were here.
You ain't
okay?
I'm just saying.
Look, Voch used to watch this show when he was a child.
Years ago.
I still watch it.
No. But thank you so much to all the fans that come and support and watch the show, listen to the show, and come out here as well. Something that stood out to me Joe Milton, we talked about it during OTAs and everything that he brings with his athletic ability. And this is not usual in the NFL, but I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, what if we created some creative new concept
There was
where
a read option yesterday where he pulled it and ran all over the place.
He's running. He's just so athletic. And now some of his throws need some work there as far as precision. But when you see that, you can only think, hey, what could this look like if you create this dynamic where you have Dak and him interchanging here and there? Obviously, you don't want to create a specific pattern where every time you see him getting on the field, you're going to know, oh, he's going to run the ball. You want to get creative in that aspect, but how fun would that be if you actually saw some of that where now it's a quarterback duo type of work that you're getting on the offense? I think it would be something very amazing because you could really utilize his legs rather than risk Dak's legs and him running, and then take advantage of what Dak brings into the passing game.
The moment for me happened in day one, and it happened when Deron Bland ran down George Pickens and knocked the ball out of his hands. For 2 days now, we've seen turnovers. We've seen interceptions to the point where Dak Prescott went over to Elam and asked, "Where were you? How did I miss you? What were you think? What did I do to make you track me to get this interception?" You know, we've seen fumbles. We saw yesterday too with Donovan Wilson. Williams catches the ball in the flat, hammers the ball on the ground. I'm watching drills right now with the linebackers where one linebacker intercepts the ball, the other picks the ball up off the ground and runs. Brian Schottenheimer talked about this. He is adamant that this team is going to be one of the top 10 teams when it comes to creating turnovers. That for me has been very, very evident. This is something that they probably brought from the Star and Frisco out here, what the type of defense they were going to be. We're going to create turnovers. You know, and they're doing a great job of it through the first couple of days.
And I'll tell you this, Brian, I also look at the flip side of that. I was mentioning to someone as we were watching practice yesterday, and we were seeing all the turnovers, and I was thinking this can't do anything but also help the offense from the standpoint of giveaways, because from the first day of camp, man, they're coming to get the ball. So they are thinking, and as you've seen these practices go on, you start seeing guys high and tight. More and more you see guys high and tight. And the reason why is because they have to be aware of it because the defense is aware of it. And I think that just helps this offense be even more prepared to not give the ball away on the other side. So giveaways, takeaways, I think both of them are highly important.
As a University of Texas man yourself, Jadon Blue is probably saying, thank God it's somebody else fumbling the damn ball right now.
He has not had one out here, I don't think.
He's the one guy that hasn't fumbled the ball out here.
Yeah.
But you do see the turnovers, and you do see the effort in the pre-practice stuff and how they're working on that, and you're seeing it carry over to the actual practices.
Derek made a really good point about the fumble, or it helping the offense or whatnot. On that fumble, Brian, Pickens was running away from Donovan Wilson. He was gone from Donovan Wilson. And Deron Bland just kind of shows up, right? So it's not over till you're in the end zone till the whistle blows. So if I'm an offensive player, all right, I feel like I'm outrunning Donovan Wilson greatly, but you never know. Let me just
Schoonmaker had the same thing happen to him.
Sure.
Schoonmaker's running up the field, and I'm thinking, oh, good Schoonmaker. And the next thing you know, they're coming behind three guys, and they're hammering the ball out of his hands.
It was another thing that Shotty talked about where he talked about how he wants them to finish plays, and that's what the finishing the play is. For the defenders, it's like the play isn't over. Keep going for the ball. For the offense, now they have to keep running. They have to keep thinking about ball security. Like, all those things are part of what's being coached. And this goes back to what you were saying, Amber. Like, I don't know if what Shotty's doing is going to ultimately end up in wins and losses. What I know is I think he is a really good leader. I think he understands how to create a culture. And I think from that standpoint, that's a good foundation. Now we'll see if he can coach. We're starting to see some of those things that's like, oh, yeah, he knows how to think about the small things that end up being big things. And I saw that a lot with Parcells. I got to watch years of Parcells being here, and he would do
You
thing in
watch him
practice.
yell at me a lot? Did you watch those times
I didn't
too?
get to see all of those.
Okay.
I did hear about some other instances.
Yeah, I
but
know. We had a lot of them. Yeah.
but I think the thing about it is you saw the little things that he would incorporate into his practices that became big things on game day. And so I'm seeing some of those same kind of things now that really make me think he knows what he's doing. He has a vision for how he wants to coach his
You
team.
remember we were all at the Meadowlands that one night when Billy Cundiff kicked all those field goals.
Yeah, I
and
do.
It was an out of
Yes.
bounds play,
Yep.
a pass to Bryant, and then a play, and then a field goal for the to get it into overtime.
And that was all
But
coaching. They
all
knew what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they were doing
Yeah.
that last sequence.
Absolutely.
Honestly, let me just say, I wasn't always buying into this whole energy thing. Like, when I first saw some of the first highlights coming out, I'm like, boy, we doing a whole bunch of shouting and running around, and I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And Brian still doesn't like the loud music, right? But just kind of being here, and we're at the end of practice, and the defense is still flying around. Like, maybe it's something, right? And look, just for everybody that's watching right or just listening right now, there's literally, when anything happens, I think there's a coach that's paid to run a sprint.
Waving.
And we're waving and we're screaming.
we're
And
arms,
Well, and you see the tight ends having to get on the ground and do the push-ups.
Sure.
So you're back to the accountability type
Sure.
of thing that you were talking about.
Sure. So I'm just saying, I wasn't buying it at first, but if we're gonna be getting turnovers late in the practice, and the offense will kind of die down towards the end, but the defense is still up here, and that's where some of those picks and fumbles come from, then maybe it makes sense that they need to scream and run around a little bit. Whatever works, I don't care.
Yeah.
If you go and win the Super Bowl and you've done it by screaming and running around at practice, keep screaming and running around at practice.
Yeah, the interesting part will be now, I think we've all seen these things, these shades of moments where it's like, okay, I'm seeing it. Here will be the test. Does that consistently remain as we get into week 2,
Yep.
week 3? Do they continue to have that same level of energy? Because right now, everybody's excited to be back in football.
It's cool out
right?
here.
Right. You get to week 2 where it's kind of like, you've been doing this a little while, your body aches a little bit.
120.
Yeah,
Hot outside.
Yeah, it changes a little bit, and I think that's where I want to see if this really is being coached from the standpoint of when guys don't want to do it, the coaching still gets them in the mindset to do it, right? And I think that's going to be key as the next phase of how we watch this evolution of Shotty taking over the reins as the head coach of this team. Let's take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk a little about Trayvon Diggs. He had some things to say after practice a couple days ago. We didn't have a show, so I wanted to kind of get back to that because I thought there was some interesting things he said that could color some of the conversation we had the day before. We'll do that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Don't put off getting your oil change, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. There's no appointment needed and no waiting room. Yep, you heard that correctly. Take 5 is so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's fast, friendly, and simple service at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts nearby, you can keep life moving forward the way you need it to. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, Equal Credit Opportunity Lender.
Back to the break.
Choose prediction. I know, perfection. Predict perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. We are in the second segment of the break. We are live from Oxnard, California. It is day 3 of Cowboys training camp. Cowboys have a practice coming up here at 11:45 a.m. Pacific time. This segment is brought to you by blockchain.com.
Ding.
All right, let's go. Real quick, I did want to also get some player some observations you guys had of players. Let's go through the list. You guys tell me a player, and Amber, I'm going to go to you first this time. Give me a player that stood out to you over the first 2 practices.
You know, Kevonta Turpin.
And you can't use the quarterback Milton.
No, I gave you a moment before. The moment Joe Milton decided to run, that's called a moment, okay? A play, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm going with the player.
Got you.
Kevonta Turpin, he has a different little
gear
energy to him, like some oomph to his run, because, and maybe it's him trying to make up for the bad stuff that he did off the field and getting yelled at and getting some repercussion there, and now he's trying to be an extra good student on the field. But the way he's running, it's with intention, with power, the speed that he has. Again, you know, he's been he's gone to the Pro Bowl, and he had a great season last year, but I think it's carrying over, and that's what you see right now on the field. Very excited in the way that you see him being utilized. You see him a lot more right now. Currently, he's been in a lot of the plays. He's been handed the ball, thrown the ball, and running with it, so that is something that's exciting to see, obviously, every time you see that kind of speed on the field.
Bossman, that's your Wildcat quarterback, my prediction.
That's what?
That's your Wildcat
yeah.
quarterback right
You heard him mention we might be doing a little Wildcat. Yeah.
I think it's a great observation.
It's a good call.
But I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be your Wildcat guy. You know, my guy, and I had a lot of questions about this guy coming into camp because I didn't feel he looked very comfortable catching the football last year. But Brevin Spann the last couple of days has caught my eye in a very positive way. Hand placement has been better. You know, with the way he looks comfortable. You know, it was always one of those things, he's not always going to separate, but he's got to be able to have good hand placement, be comfortable catching the football. There was a particular play out here yesterday where Dak rolled to his left, hard left throw, and span forward along that sideline, along the boundary. Guy on his back, able to kind of reach out, catch the football, secure it, and then get out of bounds, but keep his both feet in bounds. He's had several plays where he's made very difficult catches look comfortable. Good start for Brevin Spann.
Yeah, I saw that exact same play, and it popped up for me as well. And then it combined with a couple other plays where I saw him catching some balls. I'm like, he might be a player this year for them. He might be a real player for them.
You know, context, you know, I have been watching nothing but trenches. You know, I don't think it's smart to try to watch 90 guys. You're going to miss something. And I'll just let everybody else cover the Pickens catches and the Turpin's catch. I'm going to focus on O-line and D-line. So I was watching Tyler Guyton yesterday, and I've been incredibly critical of Tyler Guyton. Now, none of this matters till pads come on. But, you know, if we're talking about shoving guys, leaning on guys, pancaking guys, we could talk about pads then. But Tyler Guyton, one of his issues was, where do his hands go? Where are his feet? Are you leaning? Are you leaning too far? You know, do you know the plays, right? Tyler Guyton, 5 times I said in a row, let's go TG, let's go TG. And that's important to me because I was incredibly critical of Guyton, right? But I'm just watching him versus Marshawn Neeland, Sam Williams. When Micah comes back, it's going to be a fun little matchup to watch. But just as of now, the guys that Guyton is going up against, Tyler Guyton is taking care of his business, not in a push you around way. Pads aren't on. But just some of the things he was bad at last year, technically, he's much better at those things now. And he's going to have to keep doing those things because they're bad habits. Bad habits kind of creep back up on you, but it's much different than what he was, not even just this time last year, but towards the end of the season last year. He's much farther along. Shouts out to Duke Manderworth.
How about balance and knee bend with him? I mean,
so Tyler Guyton is 6'7", and, you know, the first thing that they teach you in football school is low man wins. So if you're 6'7", you got to get low, but you can't bend at the waist,
Right.
because they'll just pull you down. You don't have balance. You have to try to find this balance of keep your feet wide enough, keep your knees bent, and keep your chest up, but you're still 6'7", trying to get low. So Guyton's had to find that balance. So when I'm watching him, pads have nothing to do with this. I'm seeing Guyton bend his knees more. It could be yoga, could be whatever, you know what I mean? But he's bending his knees more, hands are firing more. Sometimes he wouldn't even fire his hands. Sometimes he'll just hug people, and you don't want people getting in your chest like that. But him punching, striking, moving, bending knees, good job, TG. Keep doing it. Don't stop.
Yeah, think about for folks out there.
Look,
think about it for people out there who are trying to kind of visualize this. It's kind of like if you've ever done a squat. I don't know how many of you lift weights, but doing a squat, you kind of want to keep your back straight and keep your chest up. You don't want to lean over and hunch over, because then it's bad for your back. It's the same thing with offensive linemen. They kind of have to get in this set where they're upright and then work from there. Use their hands.
That's
punch,
how they look,
right? Yeah, like this. You
want to get in front of
I
the
will not
set?
get up there.
Right there, you have some
I
space.
will not get up there and do that, but y'all see my point. The point is, that's what you really want to see. And I think sometimes he leans a little bit. He has a tendency to lean.
You get pulled.
And especially as a bigger guy, he can't do that. So I'm happy to hear you say that. I haven't spent a lot of time watching him. I'm happy to see that he's working on that technique part, because that's really the big key for him.
Also, too, Guyton's, he wasn't a naturally powerful guy. So if you're not a naturally powerful guy, you have to build confidence and technique in those things. And he just didn't have technique. For example, Cooper Beebe, the same rookie class, he didn't have those same problems because he's strong as hell. Tyler Smith, strong as hell. Booker, strong as hell. The old Cowboys, Zach, Tyron, Travis, they're strong as hell. Guyton is the first of our first-round picks that wasn't just naturally out the box strong as hell. So he's got to get big, get strong, work on his technique. He's had the longest road to go out of all these guys. So just me watching him, a little bigger, that's a good thing. Working on his technique, we just got to see if that strong as hell have caught up to him.
Let me ask you guys another question on that point. One of the things you've always heard about offensive linemen is they got to have a good punch, right? They got to be able to kind of get guys off of them.
Look at my Twitter. He's punching the hell out of Sam Williams.
I did see that in the offseason there was a little video of him out kind of shadow boxing.
Sure.
And I know some players have taken to boxing in order to kind of develop that a little bit. How important is that? Talk about how important that is, particularly for his game, with his size, with all the things he's working on technically. How important is that part of his game, and where was that last year relative to where he needs to be long term?
At the most novice levels of offensive line, they just kind of teach you to shoot both hands and kind of go for the middle of the chest. We're at the most advanced levels of ball, so your hands can't be tied together now. So it's really chess matching out there. If you watch Tyron Smith, great example of it, he is switching his looks up every single time. If you're trying to get past me and I'm shooting every time like this, even Ambar Garcia can grab my wrist. She can slap my hands down. She can move around me. She can get under me. But if I'm working my hands, could be this hand, could be this hand, hey, low hand here, high hand here, you're adding tools to your belt. It may look like we're all doing this. I say we because I'm an ex-offensive lineman. It may look like we're all doing the same thing, but I'm really just setting you up. Sometimes I can leave my hand out to make you think you're going to attack it, bring it back and replace. So making your hands work, just separately of each other is just adding more tools to your belt. And that's incredibly important for Tyler because he's Guyton because he's not strong as hell. So as he's building power and strength and things, you can win just by simply – I have confidence in my solo right hand punching you in the right place. To then gather with my left. Or if I know that Sam Williams has this lean on me move that he likes to do, I can confidently go, I'm going to grab that hand now and then gather with this hand. So working your hands independently, that's something that they try to teach these guys. If you watch after practice, Brock Hoffman's kind of punching bags doing this. That's what boxing is. You don't box like this. You box and you set up and you throw hands independently. That's the same thing as offensive line.
Yeah, the thing about too, the biggest fear, and I'll make this real quick, the biggest fear that Tyler Guyton has, and when he's not strong, as Voch is talking about, you get overextended. You try and use your head to make up for the lack of power in your upper body. You lead with your head, and then all of a sudden you become over the top of your feet. That's his biggest fear, that he is not strong enough to stop a edge charge rush. And so when we talk about guys like Tyron Smith and people like that, it's the punch, and all of a sudden when that rusher stops. So anytime you can make a rusher start, stop, and start again, you got an advantage. Ball out. We saw it yesterday with quick game. They'll throw the quick screen on you and stuff. So that's the thing that Guyton is have to work on the most is can he be patient with his hands? You don't want to throw your hands because sometimes you get guys that will will play, and they won't give you any hitting
Delay
surface.
it, yeah.
They'll turn, and they'll try and get around you that way, and then grab your shoulder and pull. That's his biggest fear. He's got to think about, okay, how do I place my hands with my lack of power right now and keep this guy in front of me? There's been times where he mentioned last year, we saw hands outside the body, kind of bear hugging and holding on. That's when you get the holding
gonna be a
calls.
flag. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
That's
main
good.
thing, I was gonna say, the main thing is getting that technique down. Now that can I give a little sneak peek of the documentary?
Sure,
Are,
yeah.
Are we?
Why not?
Are
Yeah,
we
yeah.
there
Why
yet?
not? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we're working on a documentary about the O-line. Travis.
Not just the O-line.
Hey.
The O-line
The-
of the 2000s.
The O-line. Mr.
already
Travis
done.
Frederick, Tyron Smith, and Zach Martin. So
wow.
interviewing those guys, I mean, it's going to be great. So I hope you guys are ready to watch that.
Coming
when
up
it
here
comes
in
out.
August, we'll have it out. We'll put it out.
Yes, and in this process, I've learned a lot about them talking about their techniques, what made them so great, and some of the things that you do. Yes, you have to get down that technique, the hand work, the foot placement, and all of that. But then the mental part comes after, where you can only learn in games when to really adapt to that player. You have to be able to not just know the techniques, just let your body react to what is happening, but the mental thing of like knowing your opponent and like, okay, this guy made this move, I gotta do this to throw off and make up for that lack of power per se.
Right.
And that's why like a practice like the one we're gonna have with the Rams against the Rams, moments like that is great for guys like these. And they're gonna be able to take that opportunity to hopefully in the preseason learn that, where it becomes just like natural. Yeah. Now you're just reacting and adapting to whoever you got in front of you.
That's good stuff. We you just mentioned we're doing Deep Blue, as everybody knows. We do Deep Blue every summer. Our Deep Blue documentaries. We have 3 of them that we're going to be rolling out later this summer. That is one of them. We'll give you more of a sneak peek over the next couple of days or weeks of the other 2 that will be coming out. But yeah, we'll be starting up that. I think not next weekend, the week after that. I think it's going to be like that Thursday when we're going to roll out. You're the second one.
Don't put us first.
We're going to start rolling those out. We got some good ones this year. I think you guys are going to really, really enjoy those documentaries. All right, we're going to take our final break. We will come back. We're going to get into the conversation on Trayvon Diggs. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in third segment. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to the break.
Welcome back.
Hey. Come on,
Go ahead,
Derek.
sorry.
AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Thank you, Amber. Good job. Welcome back. Final segment of the break.
We'll get that
We're
right
in Oxnard,
Tuesday.
California.
Monday.
We will. We're
Monday
still
or
working
Tuesday,
in.
we'll get it right.
We're working back from a break, and we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost on the point where we will do this well, I guess, heading into the season. All right, here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Trayvon Diggs. He and Micah. It was interesting. They
joint
came
press
out,
conference.
They came out and did a joint press conference, literally, the first day.
It was
and
cute.
They addressed a lot of things, and I appreciated it because I think sometimes players can kind of go into a shell, and I think this is just my own business way I look at it. I think sometimes players don't quite take advantage of the media in the way they should.
Sure.
I think organizations are really good with it. They understand how to kind of work with the media to be able to get the messages out they want to get out. I don't think players always do. And I thought it was well done by them to be like, all right, let's go out there together and let's just talk. And we'll be able to get out a lot of messages. And they did that. But the one thing I wanted to kind of zero in on, there were two things I think that Trayvon said that addressed two things that we had talked about specifically. One of them being his decision to train in Florida as opposed to being here. And the other one being leadership, just the general idea of leadership. Let's start first with the decision to train away from here and not be here for all the off season. Here was his quote. He says, they do a great job here. I just felt like it was in my best interest to go somewhere to get the full undivided attention I needed. Massages and the whole 9 yards to better and further my career, to make sure I'm good ahead of schedule and that I can perform well. Like when I tore my ACL, I came back a whole 2 months earlier because of the work I put in during the offseason off the field. My work is going to show. What I put into it is going to show on the field. You guys think that's fair? Because I think that the way that we talked about it was more like the fact that he wasn't here.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is if he'd had some experience where he was able to work back from an injury and he felt like he was better when he came back at a better time frame, why wouldn't he want to do the same thing in order to get him? And again, that helps the team, him getting back and being healthier faster. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the thing about that whole, when you look at that, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, the front office have a huge goodwill or thought about their training staff and Britt Brown. That's I think this is where this really all kind of stems from. I think that they're like, listen, you know, there's a reason why we have these guys. There's a reason why we have a Britt Brown. You know, we want you working. Now, these players have the right to do whatever they want to do. And, you know, he gave up, you know, $500,000 to go and do something that he felt was right for him. And good for him, if that's what the case. But does that put them behind in knowing, does Britt and them now know his situation? Is it, okay, great. Hey, you did all these things. You look great. But I need you to be able to do this football move. I need you to be able to do this. And so, you know, is it put them behind a little bit? We'll see. But if the player feels good about it, good for him. I just know the front office has the utmost respect for Britt Brown. And in the National Football League, there's a lot of teams that have a lot of respect for Britt Brown out here and Jim Maurer and these trainers. You know, I know everybody talks about every year they have the grades that come out, you know, in the athletic report about. I think that's more about the grades come because the Cowboys, you know, maybe they don't have a large number of trainers on their staff. That's, I think, more of a question than it is about the ability of these trainers to get the players back on the field.
And real quick, I will just say, he did make a point of saying at the beginning of that they do a great job here. Yeah. So I don't think it was in any way Trayvon taking a shot at the training staff here. I think he respects what they do as well.
I thought that this was going to be a problem, and I personally went up and asked Britt Brown myself. I said, hey, and he goes, listen, he goes, it's great. And he wants to do that. He goes, I love to work with these guys. You know that. You've seen me. You've known me for 15 years now, Brian. He goes, Diggs and I are fine. Don't get that twisted. Diggs and I are fine. You know, I thought there was a little bit of I hate you, you hate me kind of thing. That's really not the case at all. So they're going to have to put some feelings aside here. You know, I mean, as far as maybe maybe before that, you know, Britt likes to work people very, very, very hard. You can ask the quarterback. You can ask Overshone. You can ask all these guys that have gone through these programs. Britt is a guy that really pushes you. We see it every day on the practice fields there, either here or at the Star. He wants to get you back, but he has your best interest in mind as well. But I was happy to hear he's like, listen, I don't have a problem with Diggs. I hope he doesn't have a problem with me either.
Well said, Brian. Is not too much that I can add to that, but I just, this is the new way. Like if players aren't 100% comfortable with something and you have the means to go do it, then go do it. We probably won't see this out of. Well, I take that back because these college players are like millionaires, gwillionaires now coming into the league. So they have their own guys and maybe like, hey, look, I've had this one trainer since I was at high school where I was making $1 million. So this may just be the new way that the league is going, and maybe the Joneses have to adjust. Like, hey, this isn't the old days where we in charge and everything has to be done our way. There are some superstar caliber guys. Lamb is another kind of guy. Dak typically does things this way, but if Dak had another way of doing it, we would have to understand because that's just the new way of these superstar guys and just how they do. So it just is what it is.
Well, to me, the way I see it is it's always good to get both sides of the story, because initially your brain automatically starts creating this narrative in your head of like, well, this guy's not committed to the team. What is he doing? Well, he's supposed to be a leader, blah, 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 blah. And the fact that he spoke and said that exact quote was very refreshing and eye-opening to me, because two things can be true at once. Like, yes, you have a great staff here that does a great work. Britt Brown, he does a phenomenal job. But not everything needs to fit in one box. Right. It doesn't mean, like, you have so many different bodies, different personalities, that maybe your program might not necessarily be what this specific person wants or needs at that moment, and the players are free to get the outside help that they need during the off season. And if he feels that his body, that's what he needed, and just like Micah Parsons said, his body is what is making him money. Like, that's his body. He needs to protect it. He needs to be able to get it in shape the best way that he can. Otherwise, they're going to cut him. Like, you're going to see him out of here, out of the team. So I appreciated that. And again, not to say that they have a conflict, I don't know, between him and Britt Brown, but
Britt didn't seem to think so.
Yeah.
Britt's a hard guy. Listen, he is a hard guy to work with. I've known him for a long time, 15 some odd years.
But the results are the results.
But you might be a good coach, let's say, but maybe I worked better with Chris as a coach and training me right now.
There's no question.
There's all different kinds of person.
I think the only thing that the Cowboys, the front office, I think that Jerry Jones is looking at it as like, okay, I paid you, and then we went through this whole rehab thing last year, and then I had to call you out about your rehab, and now we have another injury, and now you're completely gone away from this. I think that's the disconnect right there. I think it's really the owner, general manager having the issue. Everybody else is kind of left there to pick up the pieces of like, okay, we've got to work with it. I mean, I saw him work with Britt yesterday. So he's going to do everything he can, hopefully, to get back on this field more sooner than later. Yeah. They need him to play. They absolutely need him to play.
The other quote that I thought was interesting was actually regarding leadership. And he says, personally, I'm not a vocal leader. I'm not going to be screaming and yelling at guys. How I'm going to lead is by what I do on the field, how I perform. Practice hard and work hard. That's how I lead, in my way. I'm going to continue to lead in my way. I'm not going to change who I am or change how I am or start talking and being a vocal guy. That's just not me. That's not who I am. But I lead in different ways. I feel like the things I do on the field and in practice show enough. And what it pointed out to me was I think there is this – I'm starting to wonder, like, what is Jerry's definition of leadership? Yeah. Because I agree with what he says. I think there are lots of different ways you can lead. And I think – you don't have to be the rah-rah guy in order to lead and lead well. The challenge for me is if there's an expectation, if what Jerry is looking for in leadership is a consistent presence, because with a consistent presence means the young guy who gets an injury doesn't say, hey, I'm going to go train in Maine. Right. He says, hey, I'm going to train in Dallas. Or, and here's my big thing, or I'm going to talk to the front office and talk to my coach and say, hey, coach, I feel really good about this program I took in Miami that got me to where I needed to be. Yeah. Tell me when you need me to be here, and I'm going to be here. Right. And then at the same time, I'm going to spend the rest of the time in Miami in order to make sure you're doing a little bit of both. And maybe in that way, you don't get fined. Maybe you're here instead of the 80% of the time, maybe you're here 70% of the time or 65% of the time, but they're cool with that and they don't end up fining you because there was a conversation that was had. And maybe he had that conversation. I don't know. I'm just saying, I look at it and I say, I think you got to really define leadership. I don't think anybody is asking him necessarily to be the rah-rah guy. I wonder if it's more just they're expecting you to be present, and that's where you got to have the conversation if you're not going to be present.
I think
Diggs,
where it is.
Diggs was saying, hey, on the field and at practice, that's where I lead at. But Jerry's saying, okay, but there's rumors that you're not working hard, and I'm up here telling you, like, hey, man, Diggs may not be working hard. Like, I think the Cowboys, when they think leadership, they want that. You know when you draft Booker, right, and you go, man, we have 1,000 stories about Booker, how he whooped a bank robber and walked the old lady across the street, and boy, these other players that didn't have anywhere to stay for Thanksgiving, they stayed over at his house. That's not necessarily rah-rah guy, but that might still be the way you move this public image, this Cowboy brand leadership that they might be looking for. And Diggs is basically like, hey, man, I'm not your role model or nothing, but I can go out there and play, and you can see how I play, or I may go out there and practice, you can see how I work hard at practice, and that's where my leadership stops. So that's a good point. They may just be on different pages of what they mean by leadership, and I don't think Diggs wants to be the loud, what Tank Lawrence used to be type guy.
And that's okay.
I'm going to get in front of the media and say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z to the Saints. I think Diggs is just going to keep whispering to the media, and he's going to have his friends out there, and I think that's just what it's going to be.
Real quick, I know we're going to get up against it, but I'm going to say this. I kind of feel like that the Micah Parsons thing would have been done too. I think the leadership questions about him, if it was 2 years ago, if Micah Parsons would have shown like 2 years ago that I'm this leader, I'm the buy-in guy, now all of a sudden it's like, well, it's my turn to be the leader now. Micah Parsons could have been the leader 2 years ago. He very well could have been that. And I think that's kind of where, when Jerry starts to talk about leadership when it comes to Parsons and Diggs, I think it's about exactly what you're saying. It's about being around every single day.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think that kind of got Micah Parsons maybe in a little bit of a bind right now with his contract.
I will say this. If that is true, then, and I tell people this all the time, me and my wife have this conversation, I talk to my kids about it, I think you always have to allow people room to grow.
I totally
So
agree.
let's assume that that's accurate.
Yeah.
And let's assume that 2 years ago he wasn't representing the level of leadership that they wanted. If that's true, then I think in the same way, I think the Joneses and everybody else has to give him that room to be able to grow into that. And for him to see, you know what, that's what it takes. Okay, bet I can do that. And let him then grow into that and be that, right? And not judge him by what he was 2 years ago. Judge him by what he's doing right now. Because I will say this offseason, I've seen a level of commitment and leadership from him that sometimes you don't see from guys when they're in contract disputes. He's here, he's available. He may not be out there practicing, but he's been around. And I think that matters.
See, but in their eyes, though, it's kind of like, though, we needed you to be a leader the whole time.
And that's
don't all of a sudden a contract year start saying all the right things and doing all the right things. That's Sam Williams is learning that right now. There's some players at the crossroads of getting contract extensions, and everything you hear about Sam Williams is, boy, he's great. He's doing this. Shotty's up there at the podium telling you he hadn't missed a day.
Yeah.
And maybe a time ago there wasn't a Sam Williams being there every day and being committed. Those new contracts will do some strange things to you.
But so you're saying Bland and guys like Big Tyler won't have a problem getting deals because they've been this way for 4 or 5 years?
Jerry, Steven, Will McClay, coaching staff will look at this as like, I don't have to worry about these guys showing up and being here every single day and being accountable. Sure. And I hate to say that way, but that's how the old school front offices think. And maybe Brian Schottenheimer will help the Joneses understand it. Hey, we've got to let these guys have some of the latitude, let them grow. Yeah. And right now it's like, man, Stephen Jones will say, that Dak Prescott's there every single day.
Yeah.
Sean Lee, he's there every single day.
Dak has been the mature guy since the moment he walked in, before he walked in the building.
The Joneses love the guy that's at the facility every single day.
Well, also, I think, and this is just my interpretation of the whole situation because we're not present in those conversations, but I think that there's a disconnect and it comes from communication. You might not be a vocal leader like out there on the field, but if you are behind doors going to your coach, going to whoever's in charge or the communicator, communicate. Say, hey, just like you said, Derek, I'm going to do this and that. And I think that is most often than not well received, and you would approve of you doing that. And there is a work there because I wouldn't expect Jerry Jones or anybody on that side, on the football side, to be asking anyone to change their personality. It's be who you are, but also be present in a way, and by being present, it includes just communicating and having that open communication, and also this is a team sport. It's not just a you solo thing. Hey, I'm gonna go out there and do my thing. No, it's a team effort, and you have to be able to be accountable, be there, and build those relationships with the rest of the guys.
Yep. All right, we appreciate you guys joining us. We will be back tomorrow for another. We'll be back on Monday for another episode. Make sure you tune in till then for Bryan Broaddus.
We will be back. You will not.
Oh yeah, I won't be here, but Amber will be here. She'll be hosting, and you guys will have a great show.
Slack.
For Bryan Broaddus, Amber Garcia, Voch Lombardi, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!